The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Hey, welcome back to the No Spin Zone for another episode of Meet the Candidate. And today my special guest is the Honorable Mayor of the City of Fall River, Jazel Correa II.
How you doing, Gene?
Welcome, buddy. You just made it.
Thank you.
Great. So we're going to get right to it, Mayor. We only have a half hour, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
So we'll get right to it, and we'll try to just touch on each subject so we can try to get a lot.
Are we live right now? Is this live?
Yes, we are. So
Excellent.
we're live on 95 and streaming live to
Excellent.
Facebook.
That's very cool. I like that.
Great. So, Mayor, one of the questions was asked was, in regards to Attorney Macy, this is old news, but maybe you can just add to it. Back in your first run for mayor, there was a lot of controversy about the mayor's salary and working part-time and so on and so forth. And he's still with you today.
Yes. Okay.
Do you think that the attacks on Sutter's administration for that position in hindsight was okay? I mean, did something change that you kept them on?
Yeah, let me explain the whole let me explain the whole process, and I think it's a pretty good process that I use to evaluate specifically Judge Macy's caliber and then his appropriate salary. So you have to keep in mind that in that 2015 timeline to 2016, Mayor Sutter, my opponent at the time, said that the city was on the brink of receivership.
Right.
That the city's fiscal house was out of order. That the city had to create this new $120 household fee, which is why I made a couple commitments. Number one, I would ask people to take salary reductions, and I would take a salary reduction myself of 25%, the highest that any mayor has ever taken for any given period of time, until the fiscal house could be put back in order.
Okay.
And I think that you would agree that the fiscal house has been put back in order.
Yes.
It's changed significantly. Not only are we not even close to the brink of receivership, that was never really true. After really doing my own analysis with Mary Sahadi, our CFO, we were able to then reestablish the salaries that made sense. But you can't discredit the fact that Judge Macy took a salary cut, as well as the rest of the legal department taking a salary cut, and I took a salary cut of 25% until the fiscal house could be put back in order, and we went from $500,000 in our stabilization account to $6 million by this October.
Okay.
We also had a fiscal house that, we had a bond rating that had a negative outlook. Now it's that negative outlook has been dropped.
So that decision primarily for
it was a financial decision.
Was the fact that at that point in time, Sutter was saying that we were near bankruptcy and this, that, and everything. So if that's the case, then why are you paying this kind of salary? Is that the mindset?
Exactly. That was exactly the mindset.
After hindsight, you go back and you look and you say, okay, things are a lot better now.
Now we can go back.
It was justified to keep them on.
Exactly. Not only that, I also did my analysis on whether Judge Macy would be the best person for the job, and he is. And there are people that I feel are best for the job and people that are not. And I want to address the whole mentality of friends and family members and jobs. When you look at my administration and you compare it to even current counselors and the friends that they've gotten jobs and the family members that they've gotten jobs for, in my administration, most people that I've promoted or hired have been either people that are there and already doing their job or people that have been promoted from within. Look what we just did with our finance team. Everybody was promoted from within. All those people were not Jazel Correa appointees. They weren't political supporters. They were people that were good at their job, and they've worked hard for the city, and they got a promotion.
All right. In regards to Chief of Staff.
Yes.
So we don't have a Chief of Staff. We haven't had one for quite a few months, I guess, right? So what is your plan, if any, at this time? To deal with that issue?
Yeah,
are we going to keep them, or are we going to get a new one?
At this time, we continue to have the position. Now, keep in mind, every day that goes by that I don't have a chief of staff, we're saving money for the taxpayers.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So we've already saved a significant amount of money.
Right. So maybe we don't need that now.
Maybe we don't. So we are making a decision on whether we. I'll tell you this. Right now, it is becoming more challenging. For me because now. Keep in mind, Gene, prior to the announcement of the election, things were okay. It was pretty easy for me to either go directly to a department head, which in some cases the chief of staff would do. Now I'm running an election, running a city. It's a little bit more complex.
Which is why I like 4 years.
So a chief of staff might be more helpful in this particular time because look, I'm here. I am giving people information, but this is also campaigning.
Yes.
But it is the middle of the day.
Yes.
And I could be back at the office
Doing
working on
something
constituent
else.
services.
I understand.
So chief of staff position shouldn't go away.
No.
But every day that I don't have one, we are saving taxpayers money.
Just a little bit more on that, Mayor. So are we going to? What is the average that you think we're going to have one? Are you leaning towards having one? Or are you
I'm leaning towards
not?
having one.
Okay.
It may be a revamped position.
It may be different, right?
You're probably going to see some things change in my administration again because things are always fluid.
Yeah,
We're always trying to make sure that the right people are in the right positions.
Sure.
And I think you'll see some changes that'll be positive.
Okay. Not a problem. That sounds logical. Mayor, I'm going to touch on a touchy subject. We'll get on it and off it, okay? In regards to your drug czar, he's gone, and we'll leave that subject there. I'd like to know 2 things. Do you have any contact with Michael anymore? I mean, is he helping you to figure out which direction you're going in? Answer it or not, because
that's a bizarre question.
It is, but it was
ask.
somebody asked it, so
well, you asked it. You just asked it. That's somebody. It's you.
Yeah,
so I'll tell you.
For somebody else.
I'll tell you pretty simply. Michael Aguiar, I've stated from the get-go. I've known him for a long time. We haven't had a lot of communication besides trying to figure out maybe a day to catch up for lunch, which we have been unsuccessful at figuring out because of my schedule right now. But he is not part of the process with what we're going to be doing going forward. I can say that unequivocally. In fact, I know that we are going in a different direction that's being assessed by Beth, is being assessed by my office, being assessed by different nonprofits and community members. And once the decision is made of where we're going to go with that particular position, we'll make that decision. I have a lot of competing interests right now. I have some people saying you should farm that out to the nonprofit community. Some people saying it should be a position at City Hall. We're listening to all those opinions, and then we'll make the best decision.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what is working right now. 2 things are working around attacking drug abuse in our community. Number 1, more police officers on the street are coming, are being trained, are getting drugs off the street, and we're doing more drug raids recently, not only in Fall River, but we're doing a lot more now in Fall River, but even in the region too, into Rhode Island. We're working with Rhode Island to make sure that drugs are being attacked at the source, making sure that drug dealers, it's very difficult for them, of course, to be drug dealers in Fall River. We're going to make it even more difficult for them to be drug dealers in Fall River. So that's a top priority. We're trying to give them more tools. Unfortunately, due to some of the council cuts, we're not going to be able to do some of the undercover cruisers that we wanted and some of the camera technologies because of the public safety cuts that the City Council made, led by, of course, Councilor Pereira, Vice President of the City Council, and others that proposed some of those public safety cuts, and that's a shame. But moving forward, we also have our great group, the Mayor's Task Force Against Substance Abuse in our community, has been meeting, has been doing a great job, all volunteer-based, no cost to the taxpayers. They are helping people in their moment of need. You know this, what we're doing. We have every 3rd Thursday of the month, every last Thursday of the month, we have our help center at Government Center. They've been very successful, free event.
Pretty good job.
People come in, they are. And we've got all the different providers and different groups there. And the key to this group, which I'm so happy we were able to pull off, is that if somebody comes in and they need a bed that day, that night, they can get a bed. They don't have to wait. They're not put on a waiting list. That was the #1 need when I became mayor that I heard. We spoke about it. A lot of people spoke about it. What's the #1 need for people that are addicted to drugs? I need a bed in the moment of time. I need a bed. Not 2 weeks from now, not put on a waiting list. That is what we achieved with our group, and I'm very proud of that achievement.
And I'll add one other thing to that, Mayor, and that is that, yes, that's Thursdays, okay?
That's correct.
But that's not where it ends.
Of course not. That's where it begins.
I had a difficult client yesterday, and I actually reached out to one of the members of the task force who assisted me to help this guy.
Sure.
So it's a Sunday, right?
That's right.
They're still working.
That's right,
you know,
they
so
are.
we're all
No, the
out there
Thursdays is the
working.
day, but everybody is. And this is what it's going to
There you
take,
go.
Gene. I don't have the answers to solve a nationwide crisis.
No,
right? Nobody does.
does.
Nobody does. What I do have is people like yourself, people like River to Recovery, people like STAR, people like Beth from EMS, Emergency Medical Services, the fire department, the police department, all these people working together to make an impact and to save people's lives. That's all the treatment side. On the other side is attacking the drug dealers.
There is a lot more raids and more what I can say is more significant, okay?
Bigger raids,
They're not 5 bags. They're fentanyl raids, they're this and that. I'm sure that's a collaborative effort.
That's a collaborative effort.
State, everybody,
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's something
we have funding, Mayor, for that.
We do. We have overtime funds. We have other funds that we have access to,
Grants?
some grants that we have put to use. To my direction to the chief Dupere, our acting chief, was, let's get these drug dealers. Let's get them off the streets. Let's attack them in their homes. Let's get drugs off the streets, and that's what we're doing.
Okay. Here's a question you probably already seen on Facebook, and these are not all my questions.
I understand.
I caught that dig. But anyways, this young man wants to know, where do you live? I guess there was some problem with returned mail for an upcoming debate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I live at 200 Bank Street. I think everybody in the whole city knows that I live there. It's right in downtown. I can see City Hall from my house. I can walk there, and I do very often. The mail situation that young man is referring to is very, very simple. They obviously got my address from the ballot, from the from the elections office, but I have a P.O. box. I have a P.O. box that I get all my mail at the post office, which is right across the street from my house, and also from City Hall. That's pretty normal. A lot of people have P.O. boxes, but this is what I mean. Somebody will take something that they don't fully understand and try to make it an issue that really is not an issue. There's nothing illegal, nothing wrong, but people want to have these conspiracy theories all the time about everything that's happening in Fall River to distract from all the good. Because we're doing, not just me, because it's a group effort. This campaign is not about I. You know, my opponents, but the most recent one you had, talks a lot about I. That's not what I'm about. This is about we. So people are trying to distract, my opponents particularly, from all the good that we together have achieved. Because just like you said that you were involved in some of the drug abuse prevention stuff we've done, there are many people that are involved in a lot of the other things that we've done. Reducing classroom size in our school department, our streetscapes program. All these things are collaborative efforts that I can't do alone. The city council has been part of a lot of these things. They take credit. We just had a wonderful billboard announcement last week.
I want to talk about
that's going to raise millions of dollars for the city. Now that started with Chief Racine, our former chief, our outgoing chief, who has done a fabulous job for our department. His focus was that land behind Britland Park, right behind the station. That we could put a billboard, and then that transitioned to Cliff Councilor Ponte filing a resolution. We spoke about this, I think, a long time ago, at least within the first 6 months.
You and him talked about it really early
exactly,
on.
very early on. And what did we do? We did it immediately. We put out an RFP. We got a consultant to select all the different areas. We went through 140 potential sites in the city and whittled it down to 8. I know, huh? Down to 8 sites. And now we have a revenue generator of $15 million potentially up front with $650,000 a year.
Can I ask you something? And that is that for a couple of months, I sat on your subcommittee, your transition subcommittee with Dr. Crowley. And this was a big topic of how can we fund our cops, firemen, our drug programs. And I know that my understanding is he met with you and made reports with you. My only one concern with this, Mayor, is putting it all in the general fund. And is there a possibility that it could be looked at where you could say, well, maybe we need to put it in certain line items. Maybe so much to the drugs, so much to police, so much.
Yeah, so what those are called are special revenue accounts. So special revenue accounts can be established with certain funding in them, and those special revenue accounts will get funded each year. So if we commit $100,000 a year to tourism, for example, we could do that. $200,000 a year to drug abuse prevention, we can do that with special revenue accounts. Those will ultimately be voted upon by the council. I can propose them, but the council has to create them.
But that money qualifies.
That money does qualify, Any general receipt can qualify to be a special revenue account.
And that's my personal question, because I have issues with the general fund. I've seen
I get it.
Be spun and used.
I understand. One of the things,
great revenue.
It is, and one of the things we do want to address, if we don't address it, if nobody addresses it, there will be a point in time that isn't going to be in the next 5 years or 10 even, but there will be a point in time that our pension system will catch up with us. If we don't do anything, and we are, my administration has gone to Boston with the great relationships we have with our state delegation, with the lieutenant governor, with the state auditor. we have been talking to them about our pension problem and trying to figure out a solution for the city of Fall River that does not hurt our taxpayers. Because the last thing you want is what several months back, before I was the mayor, was being talked about, which was giving the keys to the state and they take over, right?
That was
what
crazy.
that does, it was crazy, but what that does is here goes your taxes, they're going to go up. Here goes your fees, they're going to go up. You have no control. You have no control. That's the direction that the city was headed in under the last administration, the Sutter administration. That's the direction that some of the councilors that are now running against me supported. They were okay with that then. Suddenly we have a turnaround. Suddenly we're moving in the right direction, and now we want to go backwards? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay. And you know how it is with elections. You're not new at this game, right?
Of course.
You know, it's good. They're going to come at you, and you're the guy on the top, so that's the way that cookie crumbles.
And Gene, let's do it. Let's talk about it. But don't tell me that you've got a solution to something that I've already done. I've already taken care of it, you know?
I got you. I got you. May I, just real briefly on this one, okay? Because it's a dead issue. And the investigation, or so-called investigation, that nobody ever seen or heard of anything, right? Still nothing, right? So nobody knows nothing, right?
Nobody knows nothing except for the people that are my opponents, or the ones that have talked to the FBI.
Okay.
That's what you have here.
Good enough. Good enough. So I wind up. That was another one of those. So listen, let's take a few minutes to talk about two things that I'd like to talk about. One is streetscapes, and I noticed that when you drive around, I mean, there are roads tore up all over the place, right?
That's right, everywhere.
Now, is this all part of this, Mayor, or we have some other projects going on?
Yeah, we've got three different things happening. One is streetscapes, which is East Main, Purchase, Bank Street, a few others that are being done. Now what we're doing is we're doing all of the sewer lines, all the water lines first. So that we don't do this beautiful streetscape, and then 5 years from now we got to tear it all up because water lines and sewer lines have to be replaced.
That's how it operated for years.
Yeah,
right?
that's years ago. That's how it was done. They'd do a new street. A couple years later, they tear it up to do a sewer line. Not the case here. So all that's being done. So that's the first project, streetscapes. You then have regular Chapter 90 funds being used to do regular road repavement. So we tear the road up, we repave it. That's the roads that are in the neighborhoods, different parts of the city. They're probably not going to have brick sidewalks and trees and new lights, but they'll have nice new roads. That's the Chapter 90 money. And then there's the utility company work that we have been trying to get a handle on and has been improved.
Oh, has
so
it?
if you look at, but if you look at what it was in front of St. Anne's Hospital just a few months ago, that was terrible. Now you look at it today, it's beautiful. Why? The city got involved, the city council and the mayor, contacting Liberty Utilities, saying we can't have this. We're not going to issue you permits, right?
Yeah, we'll go to court.
We'll go to court. We'll stop you unless you do the work correctly.
Right, because there are many of us in the community that say that, man. You know, we always say, well, let's not go to court because it's going to be city funds. But there are sometimes you just got to go there and say, you're not going to step on us no more.
Exactly.
So you guys are doing all that with the streetscapes?
We're doing all three. So streetscapes, regular street repair, and utility work repair.
Okay, great.
So there's a lot of streets being done. You're going to hear a pothole announcement very soon. We did a pothole survey, so we have now surveyed every pothole in the city, and we have a plan to fix all of them.
All right.
And that's not a joke. We really are going to fix all of them. They take time, and there'll be new ones that'll come online. And we're going into the winter, of course, after our summer and fall, so we'll have to be proactive. But we got to fill them right. We don't want to just fill them with a little patch.
Right.
And we don't want to fill them with a little patch that'll get washed away with the first rainstorm. That's not what we want to do. We want to cut it out and stamp it the right way. Get the pothole done. That's our plan.
Yeah, I seen the machine out, I think Saturday or something.
Yeah, and people saw it today. It's out there.
So, two other issues, and I know you probably want to touch on both of them. One's the liquor license, and the other, well, let's do the liquor license first.
Sure.
What's going on with this thing?
Well, this was
sounds like somebody took the, they just ran with a bunch of comments. I'm having a hard time following.
This was just total nonsense. This is very simple. The developers, obviously in communication with my office for multiple things, they asked me, Mayor, we need a liquor license when I toured the facility. They did not tell us in the beginning of the plan that part of the tenants that would be there would be a package store.
Okay.
They told us we'd have a movie theater that needed beer and wine. We'd have a couple restaurants that needed beer and wine and liquor license to sell.
Planned for that.
Right, so we planned for all that.
Okay.
Those were all planned, and they were available. That's the key.
Yeah.
They were available licenses. There are no package store licenses available. There is a market. So if you own a package store, Gene, and I want to buy your liquor license, I can go and make an offer. You don't want to sell? You don't have to sell. That's the free and open market. That's been established not by the local municipality, by the state of Massachusetts. Now, there's an alternative called home rule petition to override the law in circumstances, special circumstances, to give an additional license. But you need all the state support, state delegation support, and you need the local support to get that done. So the group asked me after, the developers asked me, hey, you know, we have went to everybody, we've made an offer, nobody wants to sell. Would you support a home rule petition? Now, these are people investing $100 million.
Yeah, right.
I didn't say no, I didn't say yes. I said, send us the details. That's where all these emails come up.
Okay.
People use emails like there's conspiracies with emails.
Hillary Clinton.
So, you know, they sent us an email with the language of what they were looking to do. We started to vet it. So what do? I make calls, I get calls. What do you think? That's what a good mayor does, a great mayor. They make calls, they communicate with people. I got calls from some city councilors. No way were they supporting this if it went to the council.
Oh, so you did have communication about this?
Well, this is what's funny. So Councilor Pereira, who filed the home rule petition, says that I spoke to her. But Councilor Kadim, who also filed it, said I spoke to no councilors. Both of them are wrong, clearly. I spoke to at least 2 councilors in advance of that meeting about the home rule petition. I also spoke to our state senator and our state representative. All of those 4 people that I spoke to were not for it, totally against it. Okay, wasn't going to happen if there was not enough local support.
That's when you went back to the developer.
That's when I went back to the developer and said, look, I don't think the votes are there. I don't think the support's there. That doesn't mean I counted the votes. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I told him the votes are not there. I don't want to file it. And you know what, Gene? In all honesty, you and I both know if I signed that and sent it down, it would have failed 9-0, and they would have been attacking me. I'm against small business. And I'm not against small business. That's why I looked at the situation and I decided not to send down a home rule petition. I went back to the small businesses and I said, we're not moving forward with this. It's, you know, your livelihood is on the line here.
Can you shed light on one thing?
Of course.
Okay, this is rumor, obviously.
Of course, there's a lot of rumors.
Do you know who the person was that made the contact with one of the owners of a liquor store, right? And tried to advocate for them?
No, this is not. I'll tell you, there are a lot of people, including myself.
Yeah.
I was speaking, liquor store owners were calling me.
Oh, okay, so there was
and they were calling me.
Going on.
Everybody was communicating.
All right.
They were calling me saying, Mayor, do not sign a home rule petition to get another free license from the state, because that's not fair.
Yeah.
But we were advocating for someone to sell a license.
Okay, all right.
Because we wanted, I'm not against if they can legitimately buy a liquor license, which they now have done through the legal process.
Right.
I'm not against a liquor store necessarily going in that plaza. Now, I don't think it's needed. I don't think it's I don't think it's a project killer. I think that Rob Million from the Chamber of Commerce was totally insane by saying that we're slowing down a $100 million project because the city is not helping somebody get one tenant.
Yeah.
That's their problem, not the city's.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was totally off base. And to create a conspiracy because the city I encouraged every owner that contacted me. I said, you should sell your license to them if you want to get out of the business. If you don't and you're happy, keep your license. That's your right. So this whole conspiracy of somebody tried, a lot of communication, because that's what you do, you communicate. I'll tell you who didn't communicate with me. I didn't get a call from Linda Pereira. I didn't get a call from Sean Kadim. Hey, Mayor, how come you're not signing the home rule petition? We're going to file it instead. Why aren't they being asked that question? If they wanted to work in partnership with the mayor, if they felt that the mayor was going to sign this or wanted this to happen, why wouldn't they call me and say, hey, Mayor, we're going to be filing this. You know, we're hearing that you're not. Why? And I would have told them the reasons are because I'm getting all these store owners that call and say, hey, this is my livelihood. I can't have another unfair license come into the city that's going to kill my business. I'm for small business. That's what I promote. But then I have my opponent, Linda Pereira, on your show saying she's for small business, but yet she files a home rule petition to skirt the process of small businesses. Doesn't make any sense.
Wham. Okay, so anyway, I mean, I'm glad you're bringing this on. I mean, I wanted this to try to be fair and but yet get some questions answered.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of talk about that. There's a real lot of talk about that. So I'm glad you brought that up. But I'll tell you what, why don't we talk a little bit about what you got planned?
Sure, yeah. So
what's coming up?
So I'll give you kind of, we got about 5 minutes, I think, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
we got a couple things. So, we talked about fiscal stability, and that's what we brought. $6 million by October of this year in free cash. We haven't been at that level in a long time. We're very happy about that. We're bringing new revenue streams. The billboards are going to be implemented. We have a solar project that we're working on that we actually just filed for RFPs. We're requesting RFPs right now. We've got our transfer station option, which we're aggressively pursuing at the old incinerator site. That was a pilot?
It's ended?
That pilot has been put on hold, but the pilot was to gain knowledge. It was a test so that we could gather numbers. Now what we're going to do is look to actually recreate a full facility at that site.
At Lewiston.
At Lewiston.
Okay.
So really make that old building that's sitting there, it looks bad, doesn't make the city any money, doesn't make the taxpayers any money. Try and make that building something that makes us money. So that's a big plan that we're working on. Those three things combined will lead to the elimination of the purple bags. So I'm telling you right now, those bags are going to go away. And I've stated it before. Look, they were necessary at one point. We've tried so many times to make it a fair program that's equitable. But you know what? It continues to not work to the degree that people want it to work.
And in all due respect, you remember, you was on the council.
It was needed at the time. I get it. We had revenue shortfalls.
Let's try it, and if it don't work, we can
we'll get rid of it. Then we can get rid of it.
And the time's come.
And the time has come. So this mayor, Mayor Carrere, has decided with multiple people, the city, residents that I talk to every week, landlords that I talk to every week, we have decided cooperatively, you know what? Let's scrap the program. Let's find revenue in other places. And we have the ability to do that. So we'll get that done. So there'll be no more purple bags after 2019's fiscal year. So it'll probably be next summer when you'll see the purple bags be eliminated. We eliminated the household fee. I did that. I said I'd do it. I got rid of it. No other candidate has ever said that they'd get rid of something and was able to do it. I did it. We were able to do it. And that's the only time I'll say I, because it was a promise that I made. Yeah. And a lot of people tell me, and I think I've seen it on people's campaign pages, that they, I forget how they say it, but they say something like, well, I'm going to deliver more than just promises. I've delivered on my promises. You can't say that I haven't. So I don't see how that's an attack.
Yeah, that was something that you stood solid on.
And I did it.
Yeah,
and I did it. So
nobody can claim that.
Exactly. So we're very happy about that. We're going to continue to improve our school system. We're going to continue to reduce classroom size. I can point to very specific things that my administration, with the help of so many different people, whether it's the school committee council or the people that work at City Hall or outside of City Hall at different departments, we have done all together because we set an agenda. We set an agenda and we achieved those goals. So we're going to continue to reduce classroom sizes. We did it to 26. No classroom in the elementary school level will be over 26 kids.
Yeah, I had Mark Costa on my other program.
That's unbelievable. The school committee is very happy about that. We've got a great new superintendent. A lot of people talked about the old superintendent, how there was a bad relationship there. People forget that was done under this administration. It was time. The contract was not renewed. We have a new superintendent. Economic development, you'll see a full plan unveiled shortly. Now, why haven't we unveiled our full plan? I'll tell you why, Gene, and I don't think I've told the Herald News this, nobody yet. We have been negotiating, I think they know this, but nobody knows the details. We have been negotiating with FROED. We have not been doing this in a vacuum. I have been meeting with the president of FROED and the executive board on a potential compromise, a potential deal, a potential place that FROED would still play in city politics and in city government. So that's what we've been doing. That's why there hasn't been a decision made.
I think that's a good idea.
We've also been putting together banks that may take over loans.
Okay.
Because now, instead of going to FROED, because I've had a problem with this, not personally, but in general, you want to go borrow some money from FROED. You go, you've got to meet with this board of all these people in the city. They all know your finances now. They know your personal guarantees, your personal financials. You get denied, you get approved, everybody knows. Why not just go directly to the banks? It'll be a cheaper interest rate. You're dealing with banks. You don't got to go before a board of 30 different people that you may know or don't know or knows this person or knows that person. That's what we're trying to do. So we're looking at the bank option. And we have a job description that we're ready to press send if we have to hire our own executive director. So all that has been happening all together because we want to make the best decision. It's not a political decision. I'll tell you what would have been a political decision if I just wrapped this and said, you know what, we're not dealing with FROED ever again. But I'm communicating with them. Talk about communication. That's what we're doing. My opponent, she came on this show and said, well, this wouldn't have happened with the liquor license if we had an economic development person. Ken Fiala is still there. That's not true. And more importantly than that is the hypocrisy of my opponent. She has filed legislation, resolutions, to eliminate fraud in the past. And now she's all for him? Come on. This is, if you can't see, the people are smart. People know what's going on.
Yeah.
This is hypocrisy like I've never seen before. But you know what? We're going to move the city forward. I hope that people will re-elect my administration so that we can continue the great work we've done.
Mayor, it was a pleasure, and I just want to say, folks, I got you again because I didn't attack him. So, Mayor, it's been a pleasure.
Same.
And we'll do it again.